The scratching wouldn't stop, then a thud. Something was at my door, something breathing. It was just past 3 a.m. in Brooklyn, New York. The storm had already knocked out the street light in front of my building, leaving only the flickering hallway bulb and the hum of the fridge. I stood in the dark, staring at the door as if it had whispered my name. The scratching came again, then silence. I opened it, and there he was. A soaking wet German Shepherd puppy, no older than 4 months, collapsed onto the hardwood floor like a puppet with its strings cut. His black and tan coat was matted with dirt, his ribs visible beneath the drenched fur. His front legs slid out from under him as he tried to crawl forward, paws trembling, raw with small scrapes. I could smell rainwater, trash, and something sour. His eyes met mine for a brief second, then dropped. I didn't move. Not because I was scared, but because something inside me said if I reached for him, he'd disappear. There was a red collar around his neck, too big for his frame. A rusted tag hung from it, catching the faint light. Charlie Dot, he made a soft sound. Not a bark, not a whine, just breath. I glanced back at the warm glow of the apartment behind me, the old heater clicking on. The corner with Duke's old food. Bowls I never had the heart to throw away. The silence I'd gotten used to since losing my wife and dog within the same year. And now, here I was barefoot, heart pounding, staring at a nearly lifeless puppy that had chosen my door. Charlie didn't. Tried to stand. He simply let his chin fall against the floor and closed his eyes. I couldn't tell if he was trusting me or giving up. My name's Ben. I live alone, and for 2 years, I've avoided anything that might ask me to care again. I swore I wouldn't. Open my heart. Not after Duke. Not after her. But now, I was standing over a German Shepherd puppy who had no reason to be here. Except maybe, just maybe, he needed me. I crouched slowly, placed a trembling hand near his side. He didn't move. Where did you come from, Charlie? I didn't sleep that night. Charlie lay curled on the rug by the heater, body twitching every few minutes as if still running from something in his dreams. I sat across the room with a mug of untouched tea, staring, listening to the storm roll off into the city. Every time the pipes creaked or the wind whistled through the window frame, he flinched. I wanted to speak, but didn't. The silence between us felt fragile, like words might break whatever thread held him together. At some point, I slid a bowl of leftover chicken and rice near his nose. He didn't hesitate, just lifted his head, and devoured it like he hadn't eaten in days. He didn't look at me, didn't wag his tail, just chewed and swallowed with terrifying speed. When it was gone, he licked the bowl so hard it scraped across the floor. Then he curled back up and fell asleep right there. I noticed something then. The inside of his legs was raw. His chest fur was patchy. The pads on his feet were cracked and red. Whatever this German Shepherd puppy had been through, it hadn't just been one rough night. This was days, maybe weeks. I left another bowl of water beside him and went to my room. Door open. I lay on the bed staring at the ceiling. Rain tapping on the glass, sirens in the distance, my thoughts spinning. He had a name tag. Someone gave him that collar. Someone let him go. Or worse, someone sent him here. I don't remember. Falling asleep, but I remember waking up to the sound of claws clicking softly down the hall. When I opened my eyes, he was sitting just outside my doorway, watching me, not asking to come in. Not crying, just watching, like he was trying to figure me out. Come here, I said softly, patting the mattress. He didn't move, just blinked. Slow and tired. I sat up and felt the cold weight of memory press into my chest. Duke used to do the same thing. Watch me from the hallway like a sentry. But this wasn't Duke. This was a lost German Shepherd puppy with scars I couldn't see. Yet. and I had no idea what it would cost to open my door a second time. Still, I whispered more to myself than to him. He's safe now, but for how long? Morning crept in slow, painting soft light across the hardwood. Charlie was still by the heater, curled tight, his breathing shallow but steady. I moved carefully, not wanting to wake him. It felt like having a wild animal in the house. Any wrong move, and he might bolt or break. But when I opened the fridge and pulled out some eggs, I heard the soft scrape of nails behind me. I turned. He was sitting in the kitchen doorway, head low, eyes cautious, watching again. "You hungry?" I asked. He didn't respond. Just stood there, still as a statue, as I cracked eggs into the pan. While they sizzled, I knelt near him. Slowly. No sudden movements. I extended a hand, palm up. He didn't back away, but he didn't come closer either. His nose twitched. Then I saw it around his neck, just above the collar, a faint red groove, rubbed raw, as if something had been tied too tight for too long. When he finally stepped forward, I noticed something else. A frayed gray cord dragging behind him. Not a leash, not a rope, but a piece of fabric, torn, dirty, knotted. It looked like it had been chewed through. I reached for it gently. He froze, then bolted under the table, crouching low, eyes wide. My chest tightened. He wasn't afraid of me. He was afraid of what I might do. I sat on the floor, legs crossed, letting him see my hands were empty. "I'm not going to hurt you, buddy." He didn't move, just kept his eyes on me like he was waiting for the pain that always came next. After breakfast, I took him to the nearest clinic in Manhattan. The vet, a calm woman named Dr. Patel, took one look inside. "This one's been through something," she said. "No chip, no ID beyond the name tag, but look at his neck." She lifted the fur to show the damage. Layers of irritation, bruising. He's been tied down or dragging something heavy. I looked at Charlie. He sat still on the exam table, flinching every time the instruments clicked. But he didn't fight. He didn't cry. "He's got fight fatigue," she added. "It's when an animal gives up, stops resisting, just endures." That word stuck in my ribs. Endures. Back home, I filled Duke's old food bowl. Charlie walked up to it slower now and ate with smaller bites. Controlled, like he'd been reminded. What kindness tasted like. That night, I took off the dirty collar and replaced it with a soft, worn one I found in the back of my closet. Duke's. I clipped the tag from the red collar and held it in my hand for a long time. Charlie. He had a name before me, but everything after that would be ours. Still, when I reached to pet him gently, he flinched. And it left me wondering who taught a German Shepherd puppy to be afraid of kindness. It was the way he sat by the door that got to me. Not barking, not whining, just watching it. Every time I moved across the apartment, his eyes darted to the handle, like it might open again, like someone might come back, or worse, like he was waiting to be taken away. I didn't push him, didn't force affection, but I left the door open when I went to the other room. Made sure he could see me at all times. I talked while I cooked, while I folded laundry, while I watered the plants I hadn't let die yet. Just soft, ordinary words to fill the air between us. He followed. Slowly, room to room, like he was mapping the territory. When I finally clipped the leash onto his new collar and opened the front door, he froze. Not the hesitant freeze of a cautious puppy. This was different. He sat down, tail stiff, paws locked to the floor. His entire body trembled. I knelt beside him. "It's okay." Just the hallway, but he wouldn't budge. I noticed then he wasn't looking at the hallway. He was looking at the door frame, the hinges, the space where doors slammed shut. I didn't ask questions. I didn't need to. We stayed in that doorway for 20 minutes before I carried him down to the vet again. I didn't want to push him into the street until I was sure he could handle it. Dr. Patel smiled when she saw us. He's better already. Eyes are clearer. And that weight gain. Impressive. Charlie sat still on the exam table. Blanche fried. But this time when she touched him, he didn't flinch. Not as much. He's healing, she said.